A man that respects you will not try and sleep with you. A man that wants to protect you will not try and get as far as he can. He will ensure an environment that makes you thrive. He will build you up because he understands that as he does, so will he. He understands that a woman adds to his life, that she is a prize, a good thing that is valuable in many ways. He will not try and get as far as he can. If he values you, he will respect you. If he values you, he will guide you. If he values you, he will guard you. He will ensure the best for you because he understands that that is what's best for him. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Abby, and I'm back with another video. As I promised in my previous video, I am going to be more consistent on this channel and start posting on a more regular weekly schedule. Speaking of weekly, if you guys haven't already heard, I have started a weekly newsletter. I am going to be putting the link in the description box below where you can sign up to the newsletter, where you will get little bits and bobs of the topics that we talk about here, little reminders, little things to carry you through the week. And so if you want to do me a favor, subscribe to this channel, but also subscribe to the weekly newsletter. Now, without doing too much of an intro, I want to get straight into the topic of today, and that topic is relationships. We are going to dive into we're just going to dive into the dynamics of relationships. I feel like on social media and kind of in our culture in general, there's so much conflict and contrast in the ideas of what makes up a relationship, what we should be striving for in relationship as women, what we should look for in men. And so I kind of wanted to share my ideas and my thoughts on all of that. I know if you guys are on TikTok or just alive and well in the culture, you would have heard about the whole controversy or the whole outlash of, I think the girl is named Monet McMichael and her boyfriend.
Men are expected to pay all the bills. Men are expected to pay for all the dates. Men are expected to pay for your nails, hair, all these things. Why is that the norm? Why is that the expectation? What does a provider mean?
Now, you see me giggling, but don't jump to the conclusion of where you think I stand on this, because my opinion is all over the place. I have a lot of things. I think that men should be providers financially, not entirely, but I do have a lot of traditional values. And so when I saw that, it made me chuckle a little bit, but it also brought to my attention how divided we are when it comes to the role of men and the role of women. Traditionally, there have been certain roles that women have followed where, women traditionally are to be at the home, or to be more submissive, or to be more, in a way, smaller than men, where men are kind of the head of the household and they're the breadwinners and they're the ones that are bringing home the bacon, right? That is the traditional role, what we've kind of grown up seeing. Whereas today, as time is shifting, those roles and those lines between the roles are becoming a little more blurred. And I think it's important to understand the essence of gender roles and the essence of where they come from and the purpose that they serve, so that we can also adapt and still apply those gender roles within our modern society. And so before we get into, should a man provide? What should a woman do? All these questions. Let's first understand what the role of a man is and what the role of a woman is. When we say that a man is a provider, what do we mean? When we expect that the man is to provide, what do we mean? The man is the one with power. The man is the one with more, the man is the one with power, but you have to be aware. And as women, we have to be cautious in that we choose a man that has the power, but knows how to use it. right? The man is the one that provides financially for the most part. I think all women, we can agree that we would want a man to provide financially, not necessarily that we're looking for money or that we're looking for financial support. Most women these days are providing for themselves more than enough financially. We have more than enough. We have all the opportunity to provide for ourselves financially, but we do like a man that can provide financially. And I think it's because when a man provides financially, he's playing into that role of being a provider. You don't want a provider that picks and chooses where he will provide, right? You don't want a man that picks and chooses how much he will give in certain areas. And so I think as women, we enjoy and we look for someone that provides financially because it plays into that role of being a provider. When we're looking for gentlemen that we are dating, we should be looking for someone that has but knows how to use what they have. The worst thing that you can do is get with someone that has a lot but doesn't know how to use it or uses it against you, right? We've all heard of the stories, right? We all know that this has been going on for years and years, right? Financial abuse in general. When someone has the majority, when someone has the power, there is a potential for abuse. And so a provider isn't someone that just has, but knows how to use what he has. So as women, I don't think it's a smart idea or it's wise for us to simply search for the high value man, the man that is bringing home the bacon, the man that has a lot of materials or can provide us with those materials. That doesn't actually cut it, right? It's 2024. A lot of women can provide for themselves. That doesn't cut it. We need and we should be striving and looking for a man that can bring home the bacon, figuratively, but also knows how to manage that bacon, that also knows how to treat his woman, that also knows how to treat everyone in that household, right? The family, if you're working towards a family, that knows how to treat the family, that knows how to allocate money for children, that knows how to allocate money for the household for spending. You need a man that is responsible and that is able to provide. And so I think we're moving past this idea of men just being able to provide financially to now being able to provide and allocate and manage financially, emotionally, the well-being of the household, right? That is the role of a man. And so I think it is a little bit silly when we completely disregard the role of a man providing financially, because it is a part of providing. It has nothing to do with the actual money in itself, or at least it shouldn't have anything to do with the money itself, because you could date someone or be in a relationship with someone that isn't necessarily making a lot of money, but knows how to provide with what he has, knows how to manage with what he has. And I think that is a more valuable skill, a more valuable characteristic of character than just having a lot of money or than just picking and choosing where to provide. I think providing is a skill in itself. You know, it seems kind of funny as me as a woman coming on here and speaking. This is what men need to do. I'm feeling a little bit hesitant doing that because I feel like, you know, maybe this is for the men to talk about, but it's a discussion and it's a thing that we can all kind of share our ideas on. And so if there's any men watching this, like, share your thoughts, share your ideas, share where you kind of fall into this perspective or your thoughts. It's good to have kind of the two perspectives. But seeing as I am just by myself here, I'm giving my womanly perspective, my perspective as a woman and what I expect and what most women do expect is, you know, we want a provider, but a provider doesn't just mean dollar signs. A provider means someone who knows how to provide and knows how to be responsible and knows how to love. That is what a caring provider is. Now, I think we should also talk about, as women, how we go about finding a partner that has these characteristics. Basically, what I'm trying to say, a man that is a good provider, in its essence, like if we're doing a long story short, in its essence, it's a man that has a good heart. Like, really and truly, I think as women, we have to find men with a good heart. And that is not an easy thing to find. It is not an easy thing to find a man with a good and genuine heart that genuinely cares about you and your well-being. And so let's talk about how we can go about dating and navigating and sifting through the sort of junk that comes with dating, the sort of guys that maybe aren't best for us, and kind of figuring out who we should keep around, who we should push to the side. Men that respect our bodies. Now, I know this sounds kind of like, obviously we need men that respect our bodies, and I feel like most men do. Actually, I would honestly argue that they don't. And I think that it is our responsibility as women to hold that standard upon ourselves, in that we will not date men that do not respect our bodies. We will not date men that cross our boundaries. And I know that celibacy has kind of been this hot topic within the wellness and spiritual space, but I think we really have to understand the purpose and the real instruction of celibacy. If you are being celibate just for a season, I personally don't think that it has any real function, if I'm being honest with you. And I'm going to explain. Celibacy, withholding from relations, is a great way to clear your mind and kind of allow yourself to get to know someone. But if you are just being celibate in your singleness, or just being celibate while you are waiting to heal, that does not apply to being celibate within an actual relationship, or being celibate or waiting until marriage, right? I think that there is a very real value in saving your body for a partner that is going to be in your life long term, or a partner that is really making a lifelong devotion and commitment to you and the bond and the relationship that you all are creating. If you are just being celibate, if you are just holding out, the same benefits don't necessarily apply. I think the purpose of waiting, specifically waiting till marriage, waiting till this commitment, is that so you can get to know this person, so that you can really date and see who this person is inside and out, and so that they can do the same towards you. I think a lot of our relational heartbreak and issues and all these things that kind of destroy our confidence and break us down are related to us kind of jumping prematurely into relationships and giving and committing ourselves both physically, emotionally to people that don't necessarily love us, that don't necessarily like us, that aren't necessarily putting our best interest at heart, or don't have our best interests at heart. Whereas when we respect our body, and when we value our body, and when we say, actually, I am not going to give myself up, I'm going to wait until I know that you are committed. I'm going to wait until we get to see enough about each other, until I give you my body, until I share this temple, until I share all that I have to share with you. I'm going to wait until I'm for sure. I'm going to wait until I truly know who you are, so that my vision doesn't get clouded, so that I can genuinely discern whether you are someone that is meant to be in my life or not. A man that genuinely respects you and that genuinely values you as a woman, as a person, is not going to see that as a red flag, is not going to see that as something that gets in the way of getting to know you or you being in their life. It isn't going to push them away. The only type of men that is going to push away are the ones that are just trying to keep you around, are the ones that are just using you for comfort or companionship, right? That don't genuinely see your value, that don't genuinely want to have you and see the value of having you in their life. Because if they did, that wouldn't be a big deal. That wouldn't be a thing. Waiting, that would not be a thing. And so it's a great way to kind of weed out who values you, who has your best interests at heart. And it's also a great way for you to get to know people without that kind of clouding that intimacy can bring, right? Sometimes when we're intimate with people, it kind of bonds us emotionally, or not kind of, it does. It bonds you emotionally. And so you're not able to use, your clear minded judgment. You start looking at red flags as amber. You start letting things slide because you're emotionally connected. You have this bond that doesn't really relate to your rational mind. You know what I'm saying? But as a woman, you also have to respect your body, and you also have to value who you are so that you can uphold that respect when you do get to know people and when you are dating. Another thing that we should be looking at when we are dating men is where they are going. Where is this man going, and what is his vision? What are his plans for life? Now, this kind of ties into the celibacy and waiting for marriage, because when you do that, you're able to genuinely see people's intentions. You're genuinely able to get to know people and their mind and their heart and where they are going in life. You know, I think there is a lot of confusion when it comes to submission. We think that the word submission means that we are in surrender, that we are total slaves to men. And that's quite literally not what submission is. A woman that is submitted to a man is one that follows his lead. But if his lead is not where you are going, if he is leading you to somewhere where you do not want to go, where you do not see as beneficial, you do not have to follow. You do not have to date a man that is leading you to a place that is not good for you, that you yourself are not even leading your life in that way. If a man is leading you astray, that is a great point and a great opportunity to start moving the other way. You know what I mean? And so don't confuse submission in dating. Dating is not a place to submit. Dating is a place to get to know. Dating is a place to say, where is this man going? And is this a man that I would like to submit to in the future? Don't be confused to think that you as a woman need to submit a man in your dating phase. Now, when you enter marriage, we could go ask the married women, the married ladies, what that means to be in submission. We can learn that when we get to that point. But we are simply dating. We are simply fishing out the type of men we want in our lives, the ones that we could see as beneficial, that we could see a potential marriage with. Those men are not the men that you are submitting to yet. We're trying to see if there is potential for that. We're trying to see if this man can take you where you need to go. And so there is no submission in dating. There is no submission in dating, okay? You are weeding out the good from the bad. You are weeding out and learning what this person is about. What's in their mind? How do they think? How do they go about life? What is their worldview? What is in their heart? How do they treat people? How do they view people? How do they treat women? What are their life goals? These are all things that we need to question and get to know so that we can make the decision of, is this person I want to have a long-term relationship with? Is this person someone I could see my life with, right? And so getting to know people genuinely, the insides, the ins and outs of this person, ask a lot of questions. Say the things that are annoying you, bring it up to them. You don't owe anyone anything in dating. You are simply getting to know them. Remove the pressure. Remove all the pressure you put on yourself or that society puts on you. You are getting to know this person, and you've got to do that well. You've got to do that well, and you've got to be brave to do that. You've got to be brave enough to speak your mind, to say, no, I'm not comfortable with that. To say, no, that irritates me. That bothers me. And see how they respond. That is what dating is about. Sharing who you are and where you're at in life with this other person. See if it's something that can blend, right? That's what dating is about. You know, I recently started dating, and this time around, I find that I'm so much more vocal with the things that annoy me, and it's literally the best thing I've ever done. I will automatically, as soon as something irritates me or makes me feel insecure or has me overthinking, I immediately communicate it. You did this and it made me feel like this. I don't know if I can continue this. You know, I need people to answer my text messages. I need people to be in connection with me and, you know, have this line of communication open. I can't be with someone that isn't like that. Sharing what I genuinely need and seeing how you respond to it. Sharing the times when I feel annoyed, when I feel insecure, when I feel less than, when I feel triggered with the person that I'm dating, to see how they then respond to it. And their response guides my action. Is this someone that can handle me emotionally? Is this someone that can blend in my life and blend with the sort of things that I need, that I'm trying to work through. Is this person compatible with that? That is what dating is about. I think that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to say in this video in terms of the McMichael, the Monet McMichael situation where her man got on the podcast. Honestly, my opinion is very like straightforward. I'll be honest with you, I always had suspicions with the boyfriend. I was recently talking to a friend and she was like telling me how they are like the it couple, and I was like, really? I don't know if I would kind of look at them as an it couple, and it was simply because of the TikToks and the social media that I saw him post. Now, I don't think we should judge a whole person by their social platforms or what they post, but seeing as this is a place where I share my opinions, I am going to share that the type of content he makes is not necessarily the type of, I don't know how to say this without, ruffling some feathers, but when it comes to me, I don't think I want a man that does traditional women roles. And that's mainly because I'm sort of this traditional woman where I value traditional roles and I value, kind of the way that led us to where we are. I value I value the role that women can bring within the household. And when I see men kind of taking on this role of women, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it, but it's not something that I genuinely value. And so I have seen a lot of content that he makes of him cleaning and cooking and doing all these things. And although there is no problem with that, I just value a man with more traditional roles. And so I thought, I'm not really surprised to see that he is now saying that he doesn't want to provide. I'm not surprised to now see this clip and this uproar of everyone saying, this is not the man that you want, you need a provider, you don't want a man that doesn't want to be a provider, because in essence, I kind of already saw him drifting away from traditional roles of a man. And so long story short, I am not surprised. It is sort of what I expected from him. And that's why I say for myself, I want a man with more traditional roles, not necessarily that you are boxed into that role and that you are held to that standard 24/7, but it is something that I look for or that I strive for. That is kind of the blueprint for relationships for me. So that is my opinion. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions. I'm going to end the video here because it's getting super long, but as always, like, comment, subscribe, share your opinions, share your thoughts that maybe I didn't elaborate enough, or if there's anything you want to add into this discussion, definitely leave it below. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in another video. Peace and love, and bye for now. I love you guys so much.